to the Renew View, everybody. This is Renew Worship Center, and I'm your host, Jewel Peterson. And these are the lovely ladies of the View. How you doing, ladies?
Hello.
Wonderful. All right. You're all looking great. Your hair looks awesome.
Yours does too.
Yes. Great.
Thanks,
girl. Thanks, girl. Thanks to our girl, Pamela Sims, who does our hair and does a great job with it. She can come to you. She does work on the road. She does film work, and she's really, really great at what she does. And so make sure you continue watching the show to get information about her. Now, this is an awesome show.
Yes,
it's a show that gives hard-hitting truths of the gospel and the difficulty in living in it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
And one of the wonderful things about our church is our pastor is so hands-on and helping us understand
Absolutely.
and navigate, and make decisions in this world. And we're able to do that here at Renew Worship Center, located in Marietta, Georgia. We have Bible study on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Sunday school at you had to stop.
Oh, yes. You know I like
I know. It's so good. We are just learning so many things about leadership,
Very
which
engaging.
is really, really
Engaging
awesome.
time. Yes.
Absolutely. And so we also have our Sunday service at 10, Sunday school service at 10 a.m. and our service at 11 a.m. So we want to make sure you come on down and join us. We look to see you here. Now, if you can't make it here, just listen to us on our podcast channel. You can hear our pastor preaching the word. Just search Renew Worship and subscribe, and you'll hear our latest message. Now, if you want our church updates, just check us out on our Facebook page, Renew Worship Center, and you can also check us out and tweet us at Renew_WC. Now on to our hot topic.
Yes, come on,
Juicy.
This is the hottest news.
It really
right
is.
now.
I watched the story on The View, CNN,
CBS.
On the radio,
everywhere.
Yeah, it definitely
This
is.
is it.
We're talking about Toya Graham. You probably have heard the story and seen her on TV, running after her son, hitting him upside the head, giving him the business, as we call it.
For the Baltimore riot.
But there's been plenty of arguments where people are saying, this woman was out of control, that her actions were inappropriate, and for me, I saw it as totally appropriate. We all saw it as go mom, you go girl, and I even take it to the extent of I feel that she's a positive image, a black woman who represents us very well. And I think in this day and age, it's great to see, black women doing things and demonstrating that we care about our families. We care about what our children are doing. We want the best for our children.
That's right.
So that's really what I was taking from that. But I was seeing even more in that, even in Baltimore, where we saw there are other black women that are really representing us well. You have the state attorney for Baltimore, Marilyn Mosby. You have the mayor, Stephanie Rollins Blake. All these women, and Toya Graham. I put them all together. Because I believe all of them are really representing us well, or showing us in a positive light, particularly in a day and time where black women are not portrayed as always having core values, and fighting for just causes and for the right things. Because sometimes they're seen as deemed as out of control, maybe through reality shows and things like that. So it's really refreshing for me.
This is what I noticed, that most times we see the weeping mother, why did they do this to my son? How did this happen? Why did this happen? So that's what you see. That's what we've been seeing for the past couple of months in different situations. But rarely do we see a mother being proactive with what's going on. She said, you know what, I don't want to be a weeping mom, so I'm just going to be proactive and give him the business, like you said. Accountability is everybody's responsibility. So she was like, I'm going to hold mine accountable for the things that they do in the streets. And I thought that was a good thing.
Well, it's like she's demonstrating the strength of a black woman in a crisis, in a situation where even she said, this is my only son. She's saying, I don't want to see him look like Freddie. I don't want to see my child look like that. So she stepped up to the plate as a single mom and said, this is not going to happen, and you're going to go home now. She said, and I quote, she said, I just wanted to make sure he was home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and see, I see this in different views all the way around.
Yeah.
In one view, you know, of course we want to look at her as she's a great positive image, but at the same time, negative light has been shined on that.
You're right.
This is not the first time negative light has been shined on a parent, minority parent, who chooses corporal punishment for their particular child.
That's right.
And so the fact that negative light is being shined on it, you know, it's kind of a downfall in certain communities. You know, because you want people to know, hey, this is a positive image. This is what we should be doing to make sure that our kids are safe. But then on the other hand, you got CPS that gets involved and say, hey, this is not the way that you're supposed to do this. But we can say that CPS doesn't have a parental conscience when it comes down to the way that they turn around and say, hey, this is the standard in which we feel that you should raise your particular child.
That's right.
So it's just it's different ways to view this particular situation, and it's sad, but then it's good in a way. It's very good that she's standing up.
Yeah.
But
well, like just you know, joining with you, you know, the Adrian Peterson situation. A perfect example where a parent was disciplining.
A father
was disciplining his child, and it went the wrong way. It went negative.
Yeah.
You know, so in our community, discipline, this is how we discipline.
Yes.
So for this parent to say, this is not going to happen, and I'm going to discipline my child, this is definitely a positive.
Right. That's correct. And another thing we should look at, if we're not disciplining them, the state of Georgia, the state of whatever state.
That's right.
The police has a baton.
Right.
They have a taser.
That's right. Yes.
And they will say, hey,
that's
you're not cooperating. Let me help you to cooperate.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do they do?
Yeah.
And that punishment, we don't say, hey, we're going to take away your baton and your taser, and you just use a flashlight. We don't have flashlight cops running around. We have real cops.
That's right.
You know what I mean? We have real prisons.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, so I don't think that his spanking, or what I say, his spanking should go as she crossed the line.
Right.
You know, the line was already there. When she told him, hey, when he crossed the street.
Yes, mother, you're a mother.
Hold up.
Yeah.
You ain't crossing the street. You know, but at the same time, we have to know, you know, we have to respect authority.
Yeah.
You learn how to respect authority in your household.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're out of control at home, you're going to
right.
be out of control when you get out of the house.
That's good.
Well, we know biblically that the scriptures say to spare the rod when you spoil the child.
That's right. That's what it says.
Now, we can go on and on,
That's
because the Bible also says, beat them and they will not die. It says it's just like that.
It says beat them.
It was like that. I promise you. We can go on and on with these scripture references.
That's good, Cece.
Yes.
Stop you right there.
Amazing mother. You better say that. You know all the good scriptures.
That's good stuff. I'm gonna stop you right there, because we got to get on to the meat of this.
Yeah, that's right.
The word.
That's
The
right.
word.
Do it.
And Pastor
Do it.
brought it. She brought it.
did.
Oh my
And
goodness.
she does every weekend, every week.
Oh my goodness.
You know, this thing is just freeing all of us.
Yes.
And we're all
Yes.
learning and
Yes.
just learning to, as she says, love lets things go. That's the part. That's the
my
series we're
goodness.
in right now,
Oh my
part
goodness.
9
Yeah.
of this. And she first came from 1 Corinthians 13:45, where it says, "Love keeps no record of wrongdoing." Yeah, that's a little rough right there. Every time you read that, you're like, oh. I remember that time I kept a record.
Yes.
That time I kept a record. And I remember that other time I kept a record.
Let me pull out my book of records.
Volumes.
Turn over your picture and erase it. Just be like,
Volumes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember that you just did that to me.
Yeah.
Erase.
But what she was saying today was just incredible. Where she was talking about how pain has a way of making you remember.
Absolutely.
That's right. Pain has a way of making you remember how you hurt. and it's at that time you set up a wall so it doesn't happen again.
Absolutely.
And I love it when she said that it doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work doing that. And you know, she was talking about Joseph in chapter 41 of Genesis, who we know Joseph had the worst time ever.
He did.
He really did. And she was talking about how, you know, he was, you know, thinking he was a professional, you know, letting go, right?
Yeah.
And he'd had a rough time. His brothers had conspired to kill him. He ended up being enslaved. He went through it. He had some good reasons to be upset.
And he kept saying, you know, that he had let it go, even naming his child Manasseh, which means, you know, I'm forgetting all my hardship, all my time I
fronting all day, fronting all day.
And see another reference that Pastor made was with us forgetting the pain. Sometimes we mask it. And in masking that pain, numbing that pain. I don't know if anybody has ever taken a pain pill before, but if you take a pain pill, it makes you feel as though you don't have no more pain.
That's right.
Okay, I can pick up things, I can move. I'm Hercules right now. You know, and then when it comes down, all of a sudden, that pain has increased because you increased your load while you were in pain.
And her point is the same thing happens with your soul. That when we're trying to numb what's really going on, our reality, that we really have not dealt with the real issue. So after we numb it with whatever it is we're numbing it with, we still have that same issue like Joseph did. Joseph had so much going on. You know, he was saying he forgave his brothers for what they did, but when they came around, you know, he had a couple things he was doing. He put the money back in the bag, right? Remember? He put the cup back in their bag. Oh my God, he had so much going on.
Joseph was trying to set them up so they can keep coming back to see him. That's all that was. It's like, yes, this wall is up, but come back and see me. That's all he was doing.
But I really liked when she was talking about, like you were hinting about dealing with it, and not wanting to deal with it. And I know for me, there's this, like she was saying, there's this wall, and there's that moment where I can either confront it or I can just say, you know what, I'm done with it. I don't even want to approach it. But I never thought about it as dealing with it. I just thought about it as a way of I'm just done with it. I don't have to, why would I have to go back and look at that? But really what we're learning is that, well, this is going to come back again.
Because they
Joseph knocked on the door. So all of our situations, you know, they can knock on the door again. They can
and all of those issues start rising back up to the surface. But then Pastor also talked about how not only did he have to overcome, but what about the brothers? They had to come from we don't have no food. We got to come here to get some food. And y'all ain't even worthy of our princess.
We are the godly, and we're coming down to Egypt, which is the ungodly, which is the idol worship. And we've got to come here to get even our food.
Yeah, that's kind of tough.
And one other thing in chapter 42, what I liked is she referenced in Genesis when she was talking about the word of the Lord being a two-edged sword and how it cuts, but then it also heals.
When we're trying to avoid even coming to church sometimes. I know we mentioned that. Just so that we don't have to hear the pastor say that one thing that might really strike the chord, really go in. But as you're saying,
well, that only happens when you have a teachable spirit, that two-edged sword.
Yes, we are learning that, We're learning that.
Okay, but if you resist, it's gonna cut some more. It's gonna keep cutting. You can't get to the healing part.
And she
because you resisted.
And she identified it as pride and prejudice.
Right, absolutely.
And no, prestige, pride and prejudice.
Pride and prejudice. When you be bucking.
And so the thing that it also made me familiar with is when we're talking about love is more, and we talk about that word cutting. The reason why it cuts is because it's true. And sometimes if we're not recognizing or we don't want to come to grip with that truth, it can cut you. But once it's in there, it heals.
You better.
And it's so awesome.
You better, girl.
You know, and two, she was just really saying how we need to help each other let things go.
Yeah.
Doing whatever it takes
Mm-hmm.
to help that person. If you need to apologize the right way,
It's
help
hard.
them say, you know what, okay, then yes.
Make it
Yeah.
right. Help
Make it right.
Yeah.
Look
Make it
for
right.
the opportunity. I thought that was so good. Look for the opportunity to make it right.
Yeah.
That's love is
Yeah.
Because when you talk about love, is more, your sorry is no longer good enough.
Yes.
No longer, okay, yes, you're sorry, but what you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
And so even in the story when we were talking about, when Pastor was talking about the brothers, and we look at the father, and so much time had passed. He had lost his son, you know, and then who was it? I'm thinking it was Benjamin. Benjamin was the youngest son, and so Benjamin was going to have to go. He was like, "No, I'm not sending Benjamin at all because my other son is gone." But all of them already knew what happened. They already knew what happened, and they lived there with him, seeing him go through this grieving process, in which possibly could have changed them, because even with the cup incident, even with all the incidents that came up, they were joined together. You know.
He
So
should, should have beat them, and they would not have. He should have beat them. He should have beat them. Ruby should have got the first beating. Okay? Let the beaters again line them up, beat them all. Okay? You let my son die. Beat him.
That is not letting it go.
Yeah, you let it go. You beat him, you feel better. You let it go.
But
he
the
did put
thing
him
is,
in prison.
it was so awesome how at that particular table he Benjamin got the most food. And Pastor elaborated on that.
Right.
You know,
She was
how
talking
Benjamin,
about how he lined them all up. That was Joseph setting them up.
Age,
You know, I want to give my brother the most. Okay, so let me just figure out a way to do that. See, he was smart. The guy was smart. He was a smart guy.
And even with him being smart, he was able to see that we're all gonna eat together. They ate together. And they were satisfied. They were married.
That's
it's okay that you got more. And then Pastor talked about, this is how you know for a fact that you have overcame that this issue no longer bothers you, because it's okay that she has this or she's been blessed. We all can be married together.
Absolutely.
So no hidden agendas, no anything. We're married together.
That's
awesome.
Jesus is so wonderful. Bless God for that.
Well, another thing that really, really touched me was when she was talking about, Joseph and just the timing of things, and just saying, and I always get back to pride, because for me, it seems like that's what it is for me, and not wanting to, as she says, not wanting to be vulnerable, not allowing.
All of us.
Not. And in this section, she was talking about. She said, what do you think your opportunity should look like? You're talking about how.
Because what she was talking about way back when, Joseph having all these dreams. My brother's gonna bow down to me. This is what's gonna happen. This is what happened. He didn't anticipate on having to go to jail, be oppressed, go to slavery. He didn't anticipate all of that. So he's like, wait a minute. I dreamed this a long time ago. How did I get here? And so that's what you're talking about, where it doesn't look like what you think it should.
And she's saying letting go of how you think it's going to happen, how your success is going to happen, or what you feel is going to happen. Because really, he had a dream, but the way God did it was totally different, and he was in place for what needed to happen for the family.
Absolutely.
Now, this is what I want to say.
His brothers.
Now, when she when she mentioned how, remember, he was in jail, and the baker and the butcher was in there. He didn't get out right then. That was his opportunity. This is my way. I'm thinking the way out. You know what? I already know God got me interpreting dreams. Let me help you. Come here. Let me help you right quick. And you're gonna get out, and
you're gonna remember me.
You're gonna die. But when you get out, you remember me. And but for God to not allow that to happen, do you know how many people have seen things happen and they envision that this is my opportunity. This is going to be my way out. I know I'm going to get out this way. And then all of a sudden it doesn't go that way. And this is the sad part. Some people fall away just because of that particular point. But to know that my God is greater. He anticipates that. You better preach. That was awesome.
You better preach.
The fact fact that if I had got out at this particular time, or if my way had been made at this particular time,
been in place.
I wouldn't have been in place.
Preach!
I'm telling you that.
You preaching. Standing all over the building. Yes.
That really touched my heart.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, as you can see, we are changing. We are changing. And God is doing great things in us.
Love
being
is
transformed, being hidden in Him. Love is more. The series continues.
Yes.
Pastor said it looks like it's going to be 10 chapters. So
yes. I'm putting 11,
but you
12,
never know.
13,
It could be more. I'm
Yes.
excited
15,
to hear more and more
Yes.
about how
Absolutely.
this love is more. It's
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, we hope you enjoyed the show. Please, please, please join us next time. You've been watching The ReNew View.